welcome to my channel. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome and thank you so much for being here. So today I'm going to be reading a Bible verse, and it is going to be Genesis 19:24-26. And after I read it, I'm going to give you guys some insight on what I get from that Bible verse. To me specifically, it has a lot to do with obedience and stuckness, but I'm going to read it, and I have my notes here, and I'll be telling you guys what I got from that. So I have my Bible here, and I'm going to read it now. It says, "Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the valley, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt." And that is really what I'm going to be focusing here. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. So, to me, what does the pillar of salt, what does it really show me? What is it? So, first off, everyone has a past, right? We all have a past. And we all recognize that in our past, if we have just come closer to God, that we sin. We are not perfect, right? We are not meant to be perfect. But as long as we acknowledge that and we try to make ourselves better, that is all that matters, okay? So when we try to get closer to God, when we start seeking him, that is what God helps us do. He helps us free ourselves, okay? He gives us power to forgive others, right? To think about our past and really let go, okay? Because when we don't let go, we become bitter, right? We are rude to those people that don't deserve that. We can actually grow up and carry that with us and not hit our full potential because we are stuck. Okay, we are stuck. We're like a pillar of salt. We're not moving. We're just believing what they said over our lives, right? Whether they said we're not good, we're not nobody, we're not worthy. And we carry that until adulthood. And that's what we pass on, okay? So it's important to recognize that we must get closer to God, and he will give us the power to free ourselves. But it is our choice to free ourselves, right? Because we have to invite him into our lives, okay? So there's one thing. We recognize the past, right? And then there's either recognizing the past, staying stuck in the past, or there's recognizing the past, but wanting to move forward. And what happens at times is we understand that there is grace ahead of us. We understand that we have grace, but we just can't move. We're just there, okay? We are just there. We cannot move forward. And then God cannot bless us. God cannot show us where we need to go. Sometimes we've prayed before and we're like, God, please show me which path to go or show me this way. But sometimes God's waiting on you and he's like, okay, but you're not moving. You're not doing your part. You need to heal. You need to pour into yourself. You need to recognize that there are steps to this. Okay? So we need to understand that if we are in our past, we need to learn how to forgive and let go, even though it's hard, and ask God for the strength. And then this brings me in to understand that healing is not easy. Now, going back to the Bible verse where it says, let me repeat this part. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. This is also going back to obedience. Sometimes God is saying you need to free yourself, you need to keep going, but we are not being obedient, okay? And when we look back, God could have done many other things could have happened, but Lot's wife became a pillar of salt, okay? And that can be for our life in general. We can just stay there and that's it. And you do not want to you do not want to be in that situation. You want to move forward, okay? Then it brings me to my next point, which is, self-focus or God-focus, okay? And that brings me back to the Bible verse because at that moment, she was self-focused. She was looking back. She was worried about her. She wasn't worried about, what God had said. Are you going to be self-focused or God-focused, okay? And self-focused is more, well, I feel this way. This person did this to me, and I'm going to stay here. But then God focuses, okay, God, there's a purpose and there's a plan in everything, even in that heartbreak, right? Even in that betrayal. Okay? And we all have stories. We all have stories, but we also have beautiful testimonies that came from that pain, right? Some of us, I know many people that say, I wouldn't have been who I am if it wasn't for my past, right? I wouldn't have recognized how strong I was. So we need to look at the past and not stay stuck there, okay? So that Bible verse really speaks home. Whenever you feel like you don't want to be obedient, whenever you feel like you're going through something, you're just stuck, remember what happened to Lot's wife, okay? That she looked back and there was nothing there for her. That's something else you can take out of this. There was nothing behind her. She had to look forward. So I hope this blessed you guys. Stay strong and remember to look forward at all times. God bless.